I've owned the Shimano SLX Baitcasting reel for about 2 years now, and I've struggled to find anything wrong with it at all. And here's why. Number one is the price of this reel. It is spot on. It ranges anywhere from $100 to $150, depending on where you pick it up at. And for a beginner angler, I understand that sounds like a lot of money for just one reel, but actually that's about middle of the road. And considering the quality and everything else that I'm about to discuss, the price is just spot on in my opinion. I haven't found a better reel that I would recommend in this price range over the Shimano SLX. And that high quality factors into several things, including absolutely smooth casting. The very first time that I casted this reel, I was blown away by just how smooth it was. See, I've used other reels in the $30 to $100 range, and they just don't cast as smoothly. You can't cast as far with them. You've got to have them perfectly dialed in, or you're just going to be frustrated because you can't cast exactly where you need to cast. This one, like I said, the very first cast, it was pretty much dialed in, and I was amazed at how easy it was to switch between lures, and it still was effortless to cast. To go along with that smooth casting is smooth braking. I am the king of backlashes. I tell you what, I'll be doing great and all of a sudden I just get a nasty one. And so then I spend the next 15, 20 minutes picking it out, just absolutely frustrated with how my non-fishing is going currently. This one has not eliminated my backlashes, but I rarely get a backlash with the SLX. And that's thanks to their variable braking system, which is just a fancy way of saying they have a centrifugal braking system, which is another fancy way of saying that the brakes are applied more as the spool spins faster. And so as it slows down, the brakes let off of it, therefore it doesn't allow the spool to overrun your line and you get that backlash, the overrun, the bird's nest, whatever you want to call it. And so while you still do have to manually stop it with your thumb, it is so much easier than many of the other reels that I've used in this price range. The other thing about quality that I want to mention is just how durable this reel is. Like I said, I've had it about 2 years. Most of that time it's been bouncing around in my kayak rod box on my trailer. So whenever I'm traveling down country roads, which I live on, so I do it all the time, it's bouncing, it's getting beat up, and despite maybe a few little scuffs here and there, it doesn't show for it. Now granted, I do put a reel protector on it just to help with that, but at times I also drop it on the ground, and then through normal wear and tear of getting wet, fishing in the rain, all that kind of stuff tends to wear on a reel, and so far this reel is showing very little signs of wear and tear. So once again, your $100 is getting stretched farther and farther. Another thing that I really like about this reel is it's not a specialty reel. So you're not gonna spend $100 and only break it out for jig fishing, or only break it out for crankbaits, or only break it out for this or that lure. It's a very versatile reel, meaning I use it with just about everything. This one specifically is an 8-2-1, but they also come in like a 6-2-1, a 6-1. So you can hit that sweet spot of medium speed reels and use a wide variety of lures. So if you're like me, you don't necessarily like spending $300 on a reel that you're gonna break out 5 to 10 times a year, then the Shimano SLX is the way to go. Now, even though I said that I struggled to find something, I did eventually find something that I didn't like about this reel. And really, it wasn't even me. It was actually several people online were complaining that when they took it apart for basic maintenance, for cleaning, they couldn't get it back together. Now, I've seen enough YouTube videos to know that it's very possible to get it back together. I actually have had it for 2 years and still haven't done that. It's a great idea to actually take it and clean it apart, but I just haven't had to do it. It's still casting great. I don't hear it grinding, so I'm not gonna risk taking it apart, not being able to get it back together. With that said, I think there's enough information out there that you could eventually figure it out. It just might be a little confusing, frustrating the first 3 or 4 times you do it, but eventually once you figure it out, it's not that big of a deal. And that's really the only downside that I could find. However, if that's enough of a con for you to be like, no, I don't need this reel, or I want something different, I've got a video down below me right now where I compare several other reels to this one. That way you can decide that, hey, maybe I would like this reel better than the Shimano SLX. So if that's you, I can't wait to see you in the video down below.